Narcy, let's get into who runs things. Let's get into the mindset. Whatever points you want, and I'll try to shut up and go through it.
This is Tim Dillon's wheelhouse.
This is because you're saying they want mortality on the roads.
Look at this thin, young, handsome, boyish, baby-faced Alex Jones.
Well, that's 2004, but yeah, I mean, I knew you in like
98. Well, in 98
I met you in 98, but then I got to know you in 99.
This was when you were, 98 was when you were protesting.
And this is my clip. You guys are welcome to play this. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'll sign a form. You can use it.
What is going on in this clip?
He's interviewing a lizard.
Let's
no, this is the.
It's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove.
You want to start it over? It's David Gergen. Let me set it up. Let me set it up.
Set it up.
96.
Let me set it up. Okay.
Okay.
Right when he goes, David Gergen. I'm outside. What's the main thing in New York where everybody plays?
By the way, this is when Bill Hicks was alive, so I can confirm that you are not Bill
Madison
Hicks.
Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, and here comes David Gergen, the Karl Rove of like 4 or 5 administrations, and I knew that he was part of the actual ritual at Bohemian Grove, so I bring it up to him, and he blows up at me. Here it is.
Okay.
He's like 8 feet tall.
Just a few questions about the convention.
Yeah, well, is there a camera, or are you?
Yeah, right there, just about. Yeah, but I just want to get your permission first. Here.
Okay, just it's local. I've got.
No, I understand. Just about a minute or two.
Okay, great.
We're talking to David Gergen, and he has advised several presidents, and of course has written quite a few books, and is I would call you a political pundit or researcher.
Commentary at Over the Hill, whatever.
One last question. I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal, it's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you. Oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, "Hey, I don't run around in the woods naked." What did that mean? Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, "I didn't run around naked like they do."
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Now, what we're watching for people that are just listening is a bunch of people wearing robes that are burning an effigy in front of a giant statue of Moloch, the owl god.
And it's the effigy of a child.
Well, I don't know what that's what it is.
I think it's the effigy of a child.
It looks like a grown woman to me.
He's real mad right here.
And, yeah.
Okay.
Watch this.
Frankly, I don't.
Back it up 5 seconds. We missed it. I said you take part in the ritual. Back it up 5 seconds.
I'm Alex Jones.
That's something.
Cremation of care.
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
You took I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials.
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film. And did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them up after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual gentlemanly?
That's all the people, these fucking heads of state and billionaires.
Yeah, that's
screaming.
the other thing. They run the world. These people.
I don't owe you this comment.
I know. I appreciate it.
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you and goodbye.
Been in the ritual?
That's none of your damn business.
Oh.
That's right. Listen.
Oh, he's getting cocky.
You go around and make understandings with people and violate them. You ambush people on the streets, and that's inappropriate form of journalism. If you wish to practice that, that's fine, but don't ask others to respect you for it. If you want to, you can do. You're a free American, like anything you want. If you want to be uncivil and rude and ungentlemanly, that's up to you. But don't expect the rest of us to say, "Oh well, you're
there, Mr. Gergen."
I'm sorry, nobody sets policy in there. We try to be gentlemen, and obviously, you don't belong there.
Weaving spiders come out here. Yeah, that is a 3-pointer.
Anyway, guys.
That's a 3-pointer.
Listen, you could ignore that if it was like a bunch of poor people in the woods doing that. These guys
Even then, I'd be worried.
Even then, it would be weird. These guys are the top of like every industry in America. It's at least curious.
Who goes in there?
Well, people I like. I mean, Clint Eastwood's gone. He's not really a member. Look.
Is it fun?
Look, it's 2,700 acres. It was set up by Mark Twain, and it was a liberal deal for like hookers and gay dudes and just everything else. Just a big, huge.
Would you say gay dudes? What?
Gay dudes.
Gay dudes. I was like,
No, I'm saying if you go back to like the 1870s when Mark Twain set up, it was classically liberal. It was partying. It was their own 2,700 acres. It was saloons. They brought in female hookers. There was gay guys in there. Everything. It was Bohemian Groves, what they called it that, because people did whatever they wanted. And it was open, and they had like poetry and they had plays and they had all the rest of it. Then by the time Howard Taft became president, the Republicans basically bought it. So the reason it's important is the Republicans go there to they ship in all these private hookers, all these jets land nearby, but they also have a lot of gay sex, which they use then to basically compromise people into the cult. And so there's a lot of gay sex.
how do you know this?
It came out in news articles. No one ever got footage of it. I was in there for one day. I snuck in. I looked good back then. They hit on me a lot. I had people I recognized from TV walking around. Hey, let's go right now. I mean, it's a big gay hookup deal for Republicans. I'm just telling you what it is. And then they've got this ritual that's only the feeder group. So I'm sitting there during the ritual and I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And the dude goes, shut up, I'll kill you. And they're all taking it very seriously. And I'm not saying it's a gay thing. I'm saying that some of that goes on there.
You were saying it was cool and people were getting angry that you were saying
No, I mean, I was just quietly going, oh, this is really interesting. And they're like, shut up. This is a very important ritual. And they were taking it very serious. This hearse comes in with the body of a child. It is an effigy. They're not killing it. And
it's just a bundle of sticks, right?
Yeah, well, it looks like a kid. No, later, others infiltrated later that worked there and got us photos of it. It's an image of a kid. It's a little kid.
Because Moloch in biblical is who they sacrifice to Canaanite.
It's a bull, but they do it as an owl. But
they do it as an owl, yeah. But that's from the Bible, is you would sacrifice a child to Moloch.
Give not your children to the fires of Moloch.
Right.
And so I've given it to experts in religious history. It's not even, from Christian perspective. Yeah. It's a Faustian deal mixed with Babylonian and religious stuff from Tyre.
Yeah. It's quirky.
Look at that. Look at that owl god and look at the fire underneath the owl god.
And there's Ronald Reagan.
I mean, if you saw that, if you were in the woods and you just saw that, you would be terrified.
And Richard Nixon says, Richard Nixon on the Richard Nixon tape says it's a gay orgy.
Richard Nixon said that?
You can pull up. Richard Nixon talks about.
Yeah, Richard Nixon said something about it where he.
It's the most goddamn faggy thing you ever seen.
I think it's just allowing.
Well, nothing against. That's what it's saying.
I think it's guys that aren't gay that engage in gay acts in the woods, and then they have something on each other, similar to Epstein's Island, where
that's
like,
it.
That's what it is.
It's like a fraternity doing that. You got to screw.
So
it
is that part?
Hazing.
Hold on a second. What is this here?
And they don't allow women.
No.
It says founded in 1872 by a group of male.
That's the context that YouTube has.
Bohemian
When you talk
Club?
about Bohemian Grove. This is the title of the video.
See, I told you, founded 1872.
Richard Nixon, Bohemian Grove, most faggy goddamn thing he could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Yes, play it. 100% play it. I want to hear
It's
this.
the Nixon tapes, yeah.
Let me hear this.
Let's look at Northern California. You understand?
Northern California.
You know what San Francisco just gone. It's clear over. I know that, but it isn't just down in the ratty part of town. But the upper class in San Francisco is that way. The Bohemian Grove that I attend from time to time, the Easterners and the others that come there. But it is the most faggy goddamn thing you will ever imagine in San Francisco crowd.
The San Francisco crowd goes in there. It's just terrible. Okay.
So weird. The owl and the it's interesting, and it. I don't know how seriously they take it. I mean, that's a real question, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole gay thing's a side issue,
right?
The point is that I've talked to people that I mean, according to Ted Gunderson, the first time I ever heard about this was from this former high-level FBI agent who was going to be the FBI director, but he wouldn't go along with corruption, so he wasn't. It's on record. Gunderson almost became the FBI director,
and he blew up like the things like the Franklin scandal, and he's been
and the Finders Club,
cult, which was huge, which where the CIA was caught trafficking. The Finders is a cult that was caught trafficking children, and the CIA squashed the Florida.
And then Gunderson got it raided in D.C. and found a whole CIA facility with the snuff films, everything.
Telex machine.
And so he told me about all this, and I thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
Even though he was Ted Gunderson.
You told us about it, and we actually pulled up one of those stories.
And I was correct.
Yes, you're correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Ted Gunnarson's the reason I know about this, and he said that they get people interested with that ritual. There's like 2,000 members. They bring about 1,000 guests. Not everybody can even bring a guest. Only like the head of each camp can bring a guest. Most of them are nice. Clint Eastwood goes there. Danny Glover goes there. But it's an all-male deal.
Who's the other one?
Danny Glover.
Oh, Danny Glover?
I'm just mentioning who's
Lethal Weapon Danny Glover?
Yeah, I saw him there.
How the fuck is he in there?
They probably like him from the
He's
movie.
just a fun guy.
I saw him when I was there. I saw Danny Glover.
Interesting. I'm starting to believe this is not. I'm starting to believe we can get in. I'm starting to believe it's not that exclusive.
Joe Rogan, they'd have him in immediately.
Not now.
Do a podcast
absolutely.
in front of the owl.
But I just want to say that overall, it started out as a truly artsy liberal thing that I think's good. I think guys deserve to go off the woods like we've done since humans were humans and party and do whatever.
Right.
And so but the thing is, then the weird skull. Here's what happened: about 1900, Skull and Bones, that was at Yale in New Haven, Connecticut. That was a German death cult. It took over Bohemian Grove, and that's when they set up that as the central deal. So it's this big, inviting, fun party.
What happens at Skull and Bones? Because that's one of the other rumors about Skull and Bones.
They
compromise you.
I know.
They compromise you so that you're always a part of this organization.
Well, before he died, I did multiple interviews with Anthony Sutton, the top congressional advisor to Senator Frank Church. And we only know about Sutton because Charlotte Iserby, whose father was high-level Skull and Bones, gave him all of their internal manuals. And she's been a frequent guest. She's retired now.
America's Secret Establishment, an introduction to the Order of Skull and Bones.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this is a Russell Trust, true Illuminati. Illuminati set up 1776 to counter our revolution by Adam Weishaupt. It funds the Jacobins. It funds the French Revolution. It's the opposite of a true egalitarian, open liberal revolution. It's the leftist. Always say they're the liberal. Liberal and leftist are two different deals. Leftist is left-hand path Satanism. Liberalism is egalitarian, open society, true liberalism. And so the left-hand path set this up. And then they sent all this opium money they had over in 1831 to Yale to set up a German secret society of the Illuminati, which then has become one of the dominant secret societies. And in there, they do actual satanic rituals. They get in coffins. They do simulated human sacrifices. They have gay sex as part of the ritual. They bathe in huge facilities of feces. This was made by Robert De Niro. Made a movie.
Skull and Bones they're doing that stuff now.
Absolutely, I know somebody broke into it, but
wow.
Who's the?
How can this be proven?
Well, Matt Damon made a movie called The Good Shepherd, I think.
Yes,
and in that it's Robert De Niro directed it. Okay, and that's super accurate. Where it's got the sword and the devil, and they're in these big vats of cow manure.
They did leak a Facebook photo album of a bunch of Skull and Bones kids hanging on a Deer Island. They kind of look like losers. I know they're not.
No, but
I know they're not, but they kind of look like losers. I mean, it was kind of like
a
embarrassing.
A lot of billionaires look like losers.